Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Critics Collective. I am the Dad Pan. I'm Ron, and I'm sitting here with Iris. Got Manny here, and we are ready to talk a blockbuster film. It is not the summer, but give or take where you're at in the States or in the world, things are warming up. You know, winter is gone and ice is melting. And so it is time to get into some shit that blows up. And we're talking War Machine, just came out on Netflix. All right. So if you haven't heard before, Manny, Iris, and me were executive producers on this. I know it's going to sound crazy, but you're an executive producer too. If you've ever paid like any money monthly to Netflix, you're paying for this. You're an executive producer. Talk your shit. Tell somebody. All right. Let's say you didn't pay for Netflix that month, but you borrowed a password from somebody. You might be an associate producer. You know, there's levels to this shit. Now you mad at it. So with that being said, we're talking War Machine again. It just came out. The storyline, we're not going to spoil anything. We're going to tell you how we feel about it, ups and downs, and then we're going to rate it. Okay. You follow the final recruits of a grueling ops boot camp who enters and encounters a deadly force beyond this world. That sums it up. So with that being said, ladies first, Iris, how did you feel about War Machine?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with my lows first, just to get them out of the way. Um, Alan Richardson, or however you pronounce his last name, it be throwing me off sometime with the way it's spelled. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I know they tried to show his range of emotions in this movie, especially from the beginning, everything he went through in the movie toward the end, and it doesn't fit his persona for me. Especially with with the crying on occasion, and it just I don't know, it didn't work for me. It felt forced. Um, Not saying that maybe later on in his career he could probably aim for something more dramatic, but I'm just so used to that stone cold, I can kick your ass vibe from him that if he tries to do anything outside of it, it feels fake to me. It feels fake. Not that he is not a human being with feelings, but please stop. Second, I found the movie very predictable, um, which of course most action films lately have been that way. Just you can just tell what's going to happen. And I don't want to, of course, spoil anything, but I could tell who was going to survive already from the beginning of the movie and who was not going to survive. Um, and The action. Okay. Not to go into some, because I don't want to completely just destroy the movie for everyone. But some of my highs, I enjoyed the action. I would say so. Um, and I want to say that's really just about it. I enjoyed the action of the movie. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. Not that the movie was extremely bad, but I would say because it was so predictable, uh, the range of emotion coming from Alan was just utterly disturbing in my point of view. Um, yeah, that is the extent of how I felt about this movie, and
Okay,
we
so with
will tell
Iris,
in the grade that I give it. So
Iris is
I
over here stepping on landmines. She's stepping on landmines. She don't want to ruin anything. She don't want to put the movie 6 feet under. Manny, what are you doing?
I don't, but
Resuscitating,
just like
digging a hole right next to it. What's going on?
I'm not gonna dig it that much. But you brought up the fact that paying for next Netflix subscription. Since I've been paying for Netflix subscription, one thing about it, I remember titles. And there was a movie that came out in 2017 titled War Machine, and Brad Pitt was the main actor. I don't know if Netflix forgot about that and they decided to title this movie War Machine. Overall, like I agree with Iris, there were some predictable part in this film, like this one scene with the character. It was obvious that person was gonna die. Goodbye, I love you, and boom, typical scenario when somebody's gonna die. Uh, it was basically Predator, but with a giant robot. Same plot.
yeah.
It was basically that. Uh, My other issue is the end of the movie is like, okay, we need your help to kill these robots. Then I'm like, you guys killed other robots, but how you still need his help to kill robots? Because it just didn't make sense. Then there's like certain scene where it's like the robots is like able to blow through mountains and shit, but there's scenes where it was just flip flopping. There was a couple plot armor, but overall, I thought it was okay film. Probably like one of those you don't over analyze type of movies, I would say. And I kind of did that watching it, and I wish I didn't, but overall, it's okay film.
Okay, so Manny, didn't necessarily step on any landmines. He kind of did. Iris tiptoed through them. He said, "Hey, I might step on a few of them." Boom! It is what it is. My take on this was, if you go into with the idea of not as unrealistic as the Fast and the Furious series towards the end, but just it's not Saving Private Ryan. My lows, working my ways up. My lows with this is they created a world in which they can forgot what the basis that they put in. They made an enemy, and then they contradicted what that enemy's weaknesses and strengths were just to move the plot. They went ahead and they built up this training respectfully. If you're in the military, appreciate your service. They put some sense of realism in this because he does his own stunts in this, but you lose that when you get to when shit hits the fan and motherfuckers lose their mind and common sense goes out the window. They were acting respectfully. Again, this is how my high regards for people in the military, especially to this level. It is not like a civilian who practices pew pew on the weekend and some shit goes off and they freak it out when it really happens because they've never done it before. But if you're in the military, you've seen some shit. Could you get razzled? Yes. There's a movie that just escapes me right now that was conversation for Oscars, and I put it in my top 5 best movies. But that shit was a real true story, and you're watching these men go through those pressures. And this was just, you didn't have to write them as men of honor, but you could have gave them men of courage, men of common sense, men of there's a line, literally don't be crossing that line. They did it. Like Iris said, it was so predictable. And when you base your movie off of action, you're not there for the plot. You're there for to blow up and go crazy. But so that should be your room to like experiment, do something different. Don't give me the same 15 minutes of this kind of movie that you always give that gives us foreshadowing to the rest of the movie. You know, as far as his acting, the good stuff, I thought he did a great job acting. At times, yes, it felt like Reacher. At times, it felt like it was Batman talking. But I still remember him on Smallville as Aquaman. I still remember other roles that he's been in, and I just felt like he did a good job in that sense. I thought the cast was good. It felt believable at times, but again, they pulled you out of it. Yeah, let's go ahead and rate it. We rate things here from a 0 to 5. 5 being excellent, 0 being technical difficulties where you just at the end of the day you're like, you know what, this is just horrible. Now this movie we all produced, we helped executive produce. Yeah, we didn't pay for catering and we didn't set the budget for the cast or the special effects, but Manny said it was like the Predator movie, and Iris said he can't act, not like this. Take off his shirt, it's not a reach, but maybe that's the role for him. Not my words. I don't give a fuck if he's got a shirt on or not. With that being said, Iris, what'd you get this movie? Are you muted?
Yes, I pressed the button. Sorry, guys. First of all, I didn't say nothing about him needing to have his shirt off. He could keep his clothes on. I don't know. When he was in Blue Mountain State and he was slightly smaller, I can see him as being comical. But now that he's bulked up and looks a little bit more gruff, I just can't see him as a whiny, cryy person. Like, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. But just to get to the point, for this movie, I am giving it a 3. It is an average. I would say if you want something, just noise in the background, go ahead and play it. But yeah, this was just an average movie to me.
I'm gonna say I agree. I'm gonna put it as a 3. It was average. There's some plot stuff that was wrong. There's some stuff that's going on towards the end, like Manny said, where they're showing you stuff, and you're like, then what do you need this for? Doesn't a month I could get a day off? Like there's just certain things that doesn't make any sense. Like literally, there's a checkbox that you can go through of everything you've seen in a fucking war movie or action movie, and they check all them fucking boxes off. All those. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. They even added like some wild cards. There's a spiritual Negro in here. They just added one in here. They just added one. I was like, damn, that wasn't even on the bingo board. Oh, they added a magical motherfucker in here. I'm like, so that's just my take. Manny, what
They
you
was
got?
watching Dairy. That's what it was. They was like, "Welcome to Dairy."
So, yeah, as far as the film, there was one sequence I thought I was good as far as when they were getting chased in that tank. I like that sequence. I wish they would have kept it where most of certain characters survive, where it wasn't kind of like mostly kind of like a Predator film. Even with the robots, how you scan people but still somehow miss, that didn't make sense. Overall, it's okay film. I'm gonna give it a 3.
All right, it's a 3. So there you go. You got War Machine. You can watch it. It's on Netflix. Again, you can go ahead and see Predator, and that's. I mean, you can go ahead and see Fast and Furious 11. I mean, I'm sorry, Saving Private, RoboCop. I don't know. Point blank, you can watch this movie for free 99 if you borrow somebody's password. Hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. You could have been anywhere in the world, and you chose to be here with us. Until next time.